Born in the USA, the patriotic protest that everyone got wrong. In the summer of 1984, Bruce Springsteen unleashed a thunderous battle cry across American airwaves, a track so rousing, so raw, that it became one of the most recognizable songs in rock history. With its echoing drums, synthesizer intro, and an unforgettable chant of "Born in the USA," the song surged into stadiums, radios, and political rallies. But behind the arena rock energy was a story most people never really heard. Born in the USA wasn't a patriotic anthem. It was a protest. The song's roots go back to the early 1980s, when Springsteen was writing songs for a bleak acoustic album called Nebraska. One of the songs he wrote was a stripped-down folk ballad about a working-class Vietnam veteran who comes home to find himself abandoned by the country he fought for. Springsteen later reworked that acoustic demo into something entirely different, an explosive rock track with a pounding beat and a catchy, anthemic hook. That contrast between the sound and the message would become the song's most powerful and controversial feature. "It's not a flag-waving song," Springsteen told Rolling Stone. "It's a song about a working-class man who's been betrayed by his country." If you really listen, the verses tell the story of a man born into the American working class, sent off to fight in Vietnam, and returned to an America that had no place for him. He's rejected by society, haunted by memories of war, and left wondering where he fits in the country he sacrificed for. "Come back home to the refinery." Hiring man says, "Son, if it was up to me." "Went down to see my VA man. He said, 'Son, don't you understand?'" There's anger, betrayal, and a deep sadness in those words. But the refrain, "Born in the USA," is delivered with such force and pride that many missed the context entirely. A big misunderstanding, and the song's biggest irony came when it was adopted by politicians as a patriotic theme. During the 1984 U.S. presidential campaign, President Ronald Reagan famously invoked Springsteen's name and message of hope in a speech, not realizing the song was critiquing the very system his administration upheld. Springsteen was stunned. The working-class man in the song wasn't waving the flag, he was waving for help. The song is about a working-class man in a spiritual crisis, in which a man is left lost, Springsteen explained later. It tries to ask the question of what happens to people when their lives don't work out the way they hoped. Springsteen didn't allow Reagan's campaign to use the song, and he began introducing it in concert with clarifying remarks about its anti-establishment message. Despite the confusion, the album Born in the USA became a massive commercial success. It launched 7 top 10 singles, a rare feat, and turned Springsteen from a cult figure into a global icon. He graced the cover of Time and Newsweek, headlined sold-out stadiums, and became a symbol of American rock and roll. But Springsteen continued to use his platform to champion working-class Americans, veterans, and those pushed to the margins. He stayed vocal about the Vietnam War's consequences, economic injustice, and racial inequality, even when it meant alienating part of his audience. In Springsteen's own words, he said, "There's a part of the song that says, 'I had a brother at Khe Sanh fighting off the Viet Cong. They're still there, he's all gone.' That's not exactly flag-waving stuff." He also acknowledged that the song's misinterpretation had a lot to do with its sound. It's a song that has a patriotic feel because of its instrumentation, but its message is a harsh indictment of the treatment of veterans in America. Today, Born in the USA is studied in classrooms, analyzed by political scientists, and featured in documentaries as an example of misunderstood protest music. It's a cautionary tale in how presentation can drown out meaning, especially in a country hungry for feel-good slogans. Springsteen, now in his 70s, continues to perform it, sometimes solo, slow, and acoustic, forcing listeners to really hear the words. It remains one of the most powerful protest songs in rock history.